TV said the city's done, but they don't know where we're really from.
They're saying New York is a ghost story.
TV said what?
They say we lost that spark.
Huh? Try to say we ain't strong enough.
Get out of here. That New York's not New York anymore.
Blah, blah, blah. Block party.
Quickly throws it up.
The smoking top and what's poppin'. New York is life.
There are other cities, but they're not New York.
We bounced back, and we built up.
Yo, come here. Let me tell you something. You can't stop us. We always survive.
We out here. We stay lit.
Facts. New York forever.
New York forever.
The closing balance is in the Indian account is $16,140.33.
That's after this $2,000?
That's correct.
Okay,
That
we got
not
some
including
noise in the background, fellas.
et cetera, correct?
Correct.
16,000, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay, now we're good. Welcome, Knicks Nation, to another episode of Knicks Dreams. Today, we're going to be covering, obviously, the Knicks. The Knicks will be playing tonight. We're also going to be speaking about their previous game. But, of course, I just wanted to let the panel, let the audience know that we will be sharing this actual stream, I guess, in the link so that if you want to join in as a panelist, you're more than welcome to. If you prefer to jump in just in the chat room, we welcome your input in that respect as well. And we look forward to chopping it up with you. With that being said, I want to pass the rock over to my man Bill Strajamis so that he could kick it off, and then we could, pass the rock around. So take it away, Bill Strajamis.
Good afternoon, brothers. Good afternoon, Knicks supporters. Good afternoon, Knicks City Dream supporters. We got washed. We got washed. It's one of those games, no rhyme or reason, nothing to really even talk about or chat about. We got washed. And when we predicted that we would lose. However, it was even worse than what we thought it would be. And, we got to chalk this one up and get the game that starts in about, 2 hours or so. No, 1 hour. We got to get that back. Even U-Haul, U-Haul didn't even score in double figures. Mr. Barrett had the best game of everyone that played. Quickly had a decent game, but it is what it is. I don't want to take up you guys' time because my feelings about this game. So let me go a bounce pass between the legs to my man, the Dream.
All right, and I feel like breaking the backboard. So I'm gonna start off with just shacking this game and this analysis. Speaking of getting washed, I was watching a documentary the other night, and the man said it properly. I felt I wanted to share this with you. I feel like the Knicks were dancing in water, trying not to get wet. Like everything they did, they were doing cautiously, and it was just, they were everything they tried not to do was just happening to them. We had a good first quarter. I felt, we battled with them, stayed in the game. That was okay. That it went back and forth. That was fine. Okay, even start to the second quarter. I think halfway through, maybe even 8 minutes left in the second quarter, we might have even had a lead or something like that, I believe. And then the wheels fell off for the rest of the game. And man, we left the engine, we left everything, car parts all the way back to the flight, because man, we couldn't sustain a wall against Giannis. And like you said, he did a hell of a job removing Randall from any portion of being effective in the game. So that being said, I'm gonna go behind my back, side pass 2.0.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Dream. But before we get going, I'm missing a shirt that is like a old 25 Rose New York Knicks shirt. It was blue with some orange lettering in the front. It's looking a lot like that stuff that's sitting behind your back, bro. What's up with that?
All right. All right. Just to remind you that we got hope.
Oh, okay.
We got hope. That's right.
I want my shirt back, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mentioned two things on the last game. First of all, let's call it what it was. It was the massacre in Milwaukee. And we talked about the team that came out lethargic coming out of that All-Star break, and the most lethargic of all the play. There were two All-Stars in that game, and the most lethargic All-Star in that game was your boy. I'm gonna give him to you. I'm gonna give him back to you, Santana. Your boy. That's who it was. Your boy did not show up. I think it was still down to where was it? In Atlanta. I think he stayed in Atlanta, but he left his game in Atlanta. Actually, I think he left his game in New York when we played Detroit. Because I don't think he showed much of a game in Atlanta, and he had less of a game in Milwaukee. So he has to redeem himself. Yeah, no question about it, man. They were the better team. They are the better team. There's a reason why they're still the first team in the East. And we are, just trying to find our way into that upper echelon. We still 5 through 10, folks. We 5 through 10. There's only 1 or 2 games separating 5 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not act like we're the 5th team in the East. We 5 through 10 in the East, and they are 1 in the East and have been 1 in the East for the last 2 years. From day to day, things may change, Milwaukee or Brooklyn, but they're up there. They are what we hope to become. We have no center. We need to get stronger there, and as long as we keep on playing the same, don't make any changes. Hopefully, things will happen before the 25th without us having to lose too much of our young core. But this is what's going to happen now. This is what we're going to see. The Nets. We're going to see Philly. Other than tonight and 5 games from now or 3 games from now, when we see Orlando, we're going to see teams that are on our level. Everybody else is above our level. So it's okay. We're going to go through that stretch. I'll give it to you, Santana.
So, yeah, I mean, we all expected that Milwaukee was going to win this game for a couple of reasons. Number one, obviously, the drubbing that we gave them, they wanted to return the favor. And they did. And, of course, we caught them early in the season when they weren't into their role, into their rhythm and stuff like that. And now that team has kind of settled into their role. And as a result of that, they've risen to the standings, number 1 in the standings. So, that doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that we lost. What did surprise me was the defensive effort or the lack thereof. It wasn't there. It wasn't there. They didn't really resist anything that Milwaukee brought to the table on the offensive side of the ball. Because at least if you play solid D, you give yourself a chance to compete. Whether you win or lose, that'll be determined at the end of the game. But you give yourself a chance to compete. And of course, going into this game, we weren't sure if we're going to get a point guard to start. Now we know for this game, we don't know if we're going to have a point guard to start this game. But we had Peyton come out. He played that game. He didn't have a good game. So, I'm calling it what it was. It wasn't a good game. Julius was off, and that's to be expected. Because when you're the only guy on a team that everybody's gunning for, that everybody's actually, scouting against you, other people have to step up to make it easier for him to get his off. Because he's not going to get his off as the second half, continues to unfold if no one else steps up. Okay? He's not going to be able to carry the team from first quarter to fourth quarter every single game with more at stake. And it's not because he doesn't have the skill set. It's just because they're game planning against him. So that's the reason why he's gonna have his off game. So I own that. I still ride with my man Julius because he's the one guy that I could ride with. If you got a better guy that you could ride with, by all means, brother 2.0, bring him up. Okay, but I'm sticking with Julius. Okay, because even though Barrett had a decent game, there were empty calories. Even though you had quickly had a decent game, there were empty calories. Okay, so that tells me that they're not ready to assume that mantle that even Randall has been willing to assume. You understand what I'm saying? That's what it's about. It's not about pinning one guy against the other. It's about who can step up and be that second option on a consistent basis. And more so when your main guy isn't playing a good game here and there. And we haven't seen that yet. This second option by committee, that's not going to work. Somebody has to really grab it, live it, be it, and deliver and execute on it. So I'll stick with Julius. I just need other guys to step up. With that said, I'm going to pass the ball to Mr. Bill Stradamus so that he could do his thing. Go ahead, Bill. There's some noise in the background, fellas.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I feel that Julius is our steady. He's been the one carrying us. Thus the name U-Haul. And it is expected that he's not going to be able to do that for 72 straight games. So therefore, this was his time where he didn't have such a great game. And it was up to others to step up. Those who stepped up, Mr. Barrett stepped up, allegedly. But like you said, those were basically empty calories. He had a good line, but it didn't amount to anything. Same thing with Mr. Quickly. And those guys were expected, in my opinion, to step up even more than they allegedly thought that they did. So I can agree with you wholeheartedly. The guys that did do okay, like off the bench, was Mr. Burks. Burks did pretty good, and Obi Toppin did pretty good in the minutes allowed. But I did notice that he only played Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox only got like 3.5 minutes of run. And, in a game like that, they got blown out. This is what our thing is with Tibbs, is that he doesn't really he's not managing the minutes appropriately. Unless you really thought that we were going to come back and win, because I think we were down by like maybe 16 or whatever, something like that going into the fourth quarter. You gotta rest. You gotta rest your horses and play the young guys. Even though it might not have amounted to a comeback, still, what you did definitively didn't amount to a comeback. So therefore, you gotta manage the minutes a little better than that. I think Kevin Knox should have played more than 3.5 minutes that game. And it is what it is. Hopefully, these guys will be ready to come out and get this game, because after this game, I think they got Brooklyn on Monday and then somebody else on Tuesday. I forget who it is.
Philadelphia.
So Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a hard back-to-back for us to get either one of those games. So we need to definitely get this one today. So I'll leave it at that for now. With that said, go off the backboard to the dream.
Oh, appreciate it off the backboard. And I'm just going to spin 180 and put it in backwards for you. Maybe swing back through the lane. Basically, man. So you gave us that 9-letter word, lethargic, man. But I'm gonna give you 9 letters of my own, all right? Excuse my language. WTF, NYKTOM. All right, so that's how I felt about this game. Like all the way through. You can break that down yourself. So we let the 2 smallest guys on the court, Forbes and Augustine, put up 33 points and 10 for 10 from the 3-point line. And I'm gonna drop my mic with that over the 2.0. And that's all I have to say about that game.
Well, I just want to clear up this phrase that you guys keep throwing around. I think the phrase is empty calories. Let me give you some empty calories. 29 minutes, 7 points. 21 minutes, 8 points. 22 minutes, 2 points. That was Randall, Bullock, and Noel, respectively. Everyone else gave me their double figures. So if I could get double figures from Bart Barrett, Alfred, Burks, Quigley, and Obi, I'll take that every night. All I needed was for your boy, your boy, to give me his 25 instead of 7. If he give me his 25, I'm in this game. I'm in this game if he give me 20 instead of 7. You know what I'm saying? What we lost by? We lost by 32?
By 30.
Okay, but if he gives me 20, I'm in the game. I'm not saying we win the game. I say we're in the game.
If you shut down those 2 guys from 3, that is the 30.
No. What about
put you in the game too?
What about
you right in the game?
What about if we match their scoring?
You're not gonna do that though.
Oh, you can't match it with his 20 instead of 7 with 27. We're not matching them. We're 3 points away with his 27.
No, I get that.
All right, that's just my analysis. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my unprofessional eye just seeing things, from a fan point of view. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying,
shut down by the MVP, man.
See that number 30 he's wearing? Yeah, he needs to take that off, man. But don't worry, he'll come back tonight. He's going to come back tonight. Okay? But, and I feel, I have no regrets. We lost to a great team that's playing well. Whether it was the 12th guy on the bench or the starting 5. Because the starting 5, they did what they were supposed to do. Okay? Every one of them scored in double figure. Every one of them scored in double figures, 11 through 24. DiVincenzo, Holiday, Lopez, Middleton, and Adetokounmpo. They all did their double figures. Okay, so I mean, they're a great game. The difference is, so what do we do today? Because if we let these kids do to us what they did to us the last time that they were in New York, then we're up for a very long weekend. Take it away, Santana.
So it all boils down to defense, brother. Milwaukee, you just rolled out a few stats about these players performed, they produced for Milwaukee, and they produced, these double digits and all of that good stuff. What does that say? That our defense wasn't there. Mm-hmm. We can't be trying to match point for point. We don't have those kind of horses to play that game. Mm-hmm. The only game that we can play is that slow ball, slow it down, grind it out, and make sure that our defense is up to par. Cut out the 3-point line, force them to attack the basket, and if they get a 2-5, we could deal with a 2, but not give them 10 threes. 10 threes minimum. I mean, I don't have all the stats. Dream, I'm sure, has it. But, if we look at whatever their 3-point shooting was for the night, how many they scored, how many they took, that's a killer. That's a backbreaker. And we cannot afford to let them score threes and at a high clip. And we can't try to compete with them.
Not those guys.
No. Nah, let's not bring that up, bro. We hit 13 of 37. They hit 18 of 38. That's all. They have 5 more threes than we did.
Yeah,
let's
but
not make it on the threes.
It's the 10 of 10 from those 2 guys. Why can't you shut down those 2 guys? They're the smallest guys on the court. There's no excuse for that. We're not talking about some of their bigger guys and more athletic guys. Just guys that's hanging around, finding themselves open at the line. DJ Augustine is like 45 years old. What are we talking about?
What killed us? Points in the paint. You couldn't stop the man.
That's going to happen. That's
expected. You got to give that up. You got to give that up.
You got to give that up. You're going to give that. That's why Giannis scores.
Think about it. What do you rather give up, a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer?
That's
Go
your
ahead,
philosophy
Henry.
too.
Wait. Yeah. Oh, let me
Tell
answer
me.
it. Let me answer it.
Go ahead.
Each one of those 2-pointers was a 3-pointer. It was an and one.
That's it. That's what you got. That's the problem.
Listen, I'd rather they try the N1 than shoot the 3 from the perimeter.
Yeah.
Okay? If I'm gonna overcompensate in one area, is overcompensate defending the 3.
But
And
they
slow
didn't
down.
defend either one, though. That's the problem.
Well,
They didn't defend either one.
well,
They didn't stop either one.
Henry, what did I start out with? The lack of defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I started out with.
Should have started with Randall.
I started out with defense.
Right, Randall. He didn't play no defense.
Randall wasn't guarding those 2 dudes who were 10 for 10. He wasn't guarding them.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I'll leave it to Henry to come up with a better option.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that for him to figure out, since he got all the answers. Go ahead, you figure that out. With that being said, okay, whose turn is it? Is it Dream or Bill Stradamus?
Bill.
No, go ahead.
Let me roll. I'll be short. 2.0. Randall was not guarding those 2 dudes who were sniping us from the top of the roof. He was not guarding either one of those guys. The person that he was guarding, or primarily guarding, Giannis. Giannis had basically a typical game. He had a typical game. And Randall did not offensively, of course. He had a bad game. But I gotta agree. We got killed. We got destroyed. And the biggest reason is those 2 guys who are allowed to go 10 for 10. Come on. That was the biggest reason. Yeah. So we gotta, take that L and the lesson into today's game and, right the wrongs. Hopefully U-Haul will be back, to his regular self, and we can walk out of there with this game. Because like I said, the next couple of games is going to be rough. And, we need to get back on the track. We want to stay on the positive side of 500, going into the playoffs with the understanding that our horses aren't really with us yet. Mitch will be back soon. Rose will be back soon. And I'm hearing that Peyton is probable for today's game. So,
what?
Yeah, I'm hearing he's probable for today's game.
Quickly too.
His hamstring.
And quickly as well.
Quickly too, day to day. So
day to day. So, and they're saying Rivers won't be there because Rivers is with his family. He just had a child, new child born. So Rivers won't be there as well. So I don't know what we're going to get today, but whatever it is, it's going to have to be very creative.
Yeah.
And we still need to get it by any means necessary. So with that being said, I'm going to go look right and go left to my man Dream coming down the lane.
Oh, nice. And I do the 360 layup opposite side of the rim. I'll go left side of the rim this time. I only got really one more comment for that last game and stuff like that. And basically, I think 2.0 had mentioned this last week. It was going to be take your kids to school day. That's what happened. Giannis took Randall to school. Took him in a little red wagon with the wheels. One of the wheels fell off. He still dragged him the rest of the way. So that's what happened with that. That's okay. That's going to happen. And for the Knicks, if you don't have your anchor, your boat is going to be adrift. And that's what happened in that game. We got away from everything we like to do and can do, and that's it. We just lost that sea. So I'll just leave it with that, And then, I guess we're going to transition into the next part. So I'll toss it down just in case you got a comment for that 2.0 before we start transitioning to the next one.
It wasn't only take your children to school day. He took them to the back of the woodshed and put a whipping on them.
Yeah.
He said,
every time the favor.
There's only one all-star over here. You looking at him. Okay? He was supposed to show up, man. That's the game you show up. You show up against the all-star players, not against the other teams where you think you're the best player on the floor. You got to show up when there's another best player on the floor. Okay? So you know, we're going to have to take something away from him, from that U-Haul. Maybe the U.
Over one game? One game?
You guys kill my man. I'm an equal opportunity offender.
Nah, that's not equal.
I'm an equal opportunity.
One game.
Yo,
Leave that man alone.
He got to redeem himself today.
That's okay. That's okay.
This is my square. My Hollywood square says he's got to redeem himself. Now you got your square. Go ahead, Santana. You got your square. Here's the mic. Go ahead.
All right. Listen, the first game that the Knicks played against Milwaukee, they handed it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? At that point, I didn't hear you talking about Randall this and Antetokounmpo that. Now all of a sudden you are. So, okay, we're going to put it in context. You know, you're going to pick and choose. You're going to cherry pick. There are a lot of basketball players on the court that cherry pick a lot. Those are easy to do. But you gotta look at the game more comprehensively than that. Okay, and they got maybe 2 more games to play, if not 1 more game to play. So we'll see who wins that 3rd game, that 4th game.
Okay.
But you got to look at it that way.
Okay.
Again, I'm going to keep this challenge out there for you, and you don't have to answer now, but I'm definitely going to keep it there. Who would you rather have other than Randall be your main guy? When you come up with a good reason, then then you can criticize Randall all you want. But compare him to Barrett, please. Come on now. Barrett don't even measure up. You know how inconsistent that cat is? That's the reason why we get on Randall. He has Barrett. We think and we see the potential in him, but
Right.
It's not consistent enough. And that's why we get on him. Randall, on the other hand, he's been consistent from day one. He's going to have a game like this every now and then, but that's not going to happen all the time. So that's it on that. Let's transition into today's game against OKC. The challenge, of course, is, we don't know if we're going to have Peyton playing. We know that Derrick Rose is not going to play. And if that's the case, now is a question of who's going to be our primary point guard and our backup for this game. That's going to be problematic against this team. This team is young that we're playing against. They're hungry. They're going to be aggressive. And, we owe them. We owe them, but we don't have our pure point.
We don't have our horses. Yep.
We don't have our pure point. Now, you may see Randall be a point forward more so than anything if we don't have Quickly as well, because he may be that D4 point guard or even Frank Ntilikina. But I could see where Randall potentially is going to be bringing up the ball a little bit more. Maybe Barrett. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. They're gonna have to step up. But it's not going to be easy. They got to play some solid D. This team is young. They like to run. You got to slow the pace down. You got to defend the 3. You got to put a body on Horford, because Horford is a wily veteran. He helped that team win against us. Not because of his scoring, but because of his craftiness. And, that veteran presence makes a difference. The Patty Mills of the world, the Al Horfords of the world. These guys make a difference. Even the kid that Dream just raised, Augustine. They're not world beaters. They're veterans. They know how to play the game, put you in a position to win. And that's something that we can't dismiss. We can't mock it. We can't just say, oh, who's this guy? The world beater this? Yeah, these are the guys that make the difference. With that said, go ahead, Dream, take it away.
All right, appreciate it. So, I'm going to reference Michael Jackson just a little bit because in this game, I feel like this is a man in the mirror game. And afterwards, we're going to be asking ourselves, do we need to make that change as far as like a trade or something like that? You know what I'm saying? ultimately this team coming, actually we're going into them, but they won their last 2 games and they beat pretty good opponents, San Antonio and Dallas. So they're feeling themselves. They're still pretty much bringing the same lineup that they brought to the Garden that day, minus a trade that just happened, which actually benefits us a lot because he did a lot of damage to us. Diallo got traded to Detroit, so he's out of there. He's not coming off the bench with his 25 points or whatever he lit us up for last time. It was sad, but he went off last game, and so with his trade, I think that does help us. The problem though is this day-to-day thing with the guards. Like, we got a lot of guards and a lot of important guards, and the most important to me is not really on the offensive side, is Peyton. Because the SGA is really getting on a roll right now, and we need somebody to step in front of him on the defensive end and slow that train down, or else it's gonna roll right over us. All right, that thunder's gonna roll right down our throat. So that's a big deal to me. With that, I'll pass the ball. And I'll come back a little bit, but I just want to throw that out there: is that SGA is going to be a problem if we don't have all our guards ready to play defense. So Ntilikina is going to be big, and I think Peyton, if we can at least have those 2 available, it will definitely increase our chances of being competitive and winning this game. I'll toss it down 2-pointer.
Okay, thanks, Bob. I'm not seeing the only people that I've seen that are going to be out is Rose, Rivers, and Mitchell. I mean, I'm looking around and I don't see any word about Quigley or about
Good, that means they got upgraded if that's the case.
I need to upgrade?
No, they got upgraded.
Oh,
they were
okay.
day-to-day earlier in the day. This morning.
Yeah.
So it's possible they got upgraded off of that list.
I'm hopeful that that's the case, and that whatever it is that they were saying prior to is not a major issue, and that they'll be able to give us some minutes on the floor. Yes, I did hear about the trade of Amadou Diallo. He was the one that kind of like went crazy between the 3rd and the 4th quarter at the Garden the last time, and just like that's when they ran away with it. Okay, he had a stretch there when anything that he threw up was going in, and a couple of 3-point and ones and all of that kind of nonsense. So I'm glad to hear that he's out. They still have a formidable team. I'm not going to go through my rants about whether the guys are who they are. They're beating guys. They're beating good teams, and we better be careful. We got to go in there and win this game like it means getting into the playoffs. That's how we got to look at these games. We went from 5th to 7th in one game or in 2 nights, and we can go from 7th to 9th in one game, in one night rather. We lose, and a couple of those other guys win. That's all it takes. Because everybody is between 18 and 17 wins, and 19 and 20 losses. So we're in there. We're in with a bunch of. We're in a crowded field right now. It's like those like Daytona 500. We're in with the group. We ain't ahead of them, and we ain't behind them. We're in the group. And anytime anybody crashes, we could be part of that crash. Okay, we could be the one to start the crash. Mm-hmm. So we're hopeful that when the crash comes, we're able to avoid some losses and come out of the other side, without any major, setbacks. So it all begins, like they say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Well, the journey to the rest of this season begins tonight. This is the one that they have to win so that they can feel good about themselves going into Brooklyn. Because I saw Brooklyn last night, man, and they were looking kind of crazy. That boy was putting it on what are they doing? Boston. That's lucky for us that some of the Eastern teams are playing each other so that, if we lose it, they losing. So we win and they lose is like, that's what's going to help us. But what happened was a couple of those guys won, we lost, and then we ended up in 7th place. So go ahead, take it away, Santana.
No, go ahead, Bill. It's your turn.
Okay, that game, what was that? Brooklyn and Boston.
Yes.
Brooklyn won that game, right?
Yes, they did. No, they put it on them.
They are who
Irving.
Yeah. They are who they are. We got to take care of business on our end. Now, with the game that starts in within the next hour, we owe them.
Mm-hmm.
And although we're down, like I said previously, we got to find out some type of way to win this game and get this W and prepare for Monday and Tuesday. Well, actually, prepare for Monday. Take it one game at a time. But we got to get this game today. Where we're short at, those that are coming in to fill in certain roles, they have to do the small things. They have to do, set decent picks, box out for rebounds, move the ball around, and not try to win it. Not any one person think that they're going to win the game by themselves. If we stick to our guns defensively and then offensively, let the game come to us and take what's given to us, take the best shot available, we can come out and win this. Even though we are short, our horses and if Peyton and I'm saying all of this, even if Peyton doesn't play. Okay. Now you said that you saw that, it doesn't say anything about that, and perhaps he was upgraded, and I hope he is upgraded. I hope he does play. And with that being said, they are still going to have to play our style of basketball with what we have there and stay on top of them defensively. So even if Peyton plays, I expect Frank to get a lot of run to go up against what's his name? SGA. Just in case Peyton is still a little sore or whatever. I don't expect Peyton to come in, start, and play 30 minutes against that guy. I expect Frank to get in there and attempt to and possibly hold his own against that guy, because he's going to be a big problem for us. Mm-hmm. Now, Diallo leaving, that's good for us. However, they still got some young bucks on that bench who are more than capable of, igniting their career against us, which is what folks in the past have been known to do. Although we're in their house, I think we can still get this game if we stick to our guns. And, with that being said, go up top, bounce pass up top to my man Santana.
So, yeah, again, the key to this game is going to be about controlling pace and tempo. We control the pace, we control the tempo, we get them to play our style of basketball, we win. That means slow it down, make it ugly, play defense, because that's what you got to do with these young bucks. You're not going to be able to match them speed. You're not going to be able to match their speed. You're not going to be able to match their athleticism. So the only other way to neutralize that, you got to put a body on them, put a little weight on them, make them play defense, body them, run them into screens, pull them out to defend you at the perimeter, take them off the dribble. Those are the little things, the little nuances that you have to use at your disposal to work your opponent over. You do that, and you get timely basket. You play good team basketball. Don't try to be a hero. Play within the framework of the offense. Then we have a better chance to win. And I do expect that because we lost that first game against them, that they want this game even more so. Because it's not going to look good that this team beats you twice. I'm not saying they're a horrible team. They're a competitive team. They're a young team. They're a Cinderella team. Let me put it that way. They're a Cinderella team. And you got to take them serious. They're playing well. They're playing very well. And they have, as an assistant coach, Mike Miller, who does know a couple of players on our team. And I think he made a difference in that first game. And between that first game and now, he still knows the personnel on our roster. So those guys that he's going to have coming out defending our players. You're gonna tell them, look, this guy likes to do this or this guy likes to do that. You want to position yourself this way. You want to position yourself that way. So that way, you can get an edge over the Knicks. That comes with the territory. That's what coaching is all about. That's about adjustments. It's about knowing your opponent. It's about taking away their strength and trying to force them to beat you some other way or have some other player try to beat you. On the flip side of that, you got Tibbs. Tibbs, whenever his teams has lost the first game against a given team, he'll come back the second game, make certain adjustments. The only exception was Miami. Make certain adjustments, and then the Knicks pull out the victory. So I would expect that Tibbs is going to make those adjustments to position this team to win. The key is, what are we going to get out of the point guard position? That's the variable here that really hangs in the balance, because we need somebody that can orchestrate the offense. And then number two, on the defensive side of the ball, we need that guy to be able to defend SGA and the other young bucks. Okay? So, I'm gonna leave it up to there, and I'm gonna switch it over now to Dream so he can take it from there. Go ahead, Dream.
Thanks. Well, I appreciate the pass, and feel like Lou Williams, I'm gonna drop a little lemon pepper layup for you. I started off my analysis by referencing the song "Man in the Mirror," and basically this is the Western Conference version of the Knicks. Man, they got our colors, they play our style. We're a very similarly built team. They have a couple of young players that they're hoping turn into stars. And they got a couple of old guys that just handle their business in the paint, So it's like very similar type teams, if you look at, SGA and we have like a fast guard, like quickly, we can kind of see ourselves when we look at this team, and if they were in the East, I think they would be a lot more competitive and, than they are in the West. They just happen to play in the West. So, but that being said, numbers wise, it's the same thing. They score 106 a game, we score 105. They give up 111, we give up 105. It's like very similar type teams, and we already talked about, the departure of Diallo, so that does help us, and stuff. But the departure of Diallo means other young guys want to step up. So my guy to watch tonight, Darius Baisley, or this afternoon, I should say. Watch out for Baisley. He's a young kid, long, wiry, can get up and down, and he plays a lot of good basketball, I'll say, on both ends of the floor. So just keep an eye out for him. If we keep him under wraps, SGA is going to get off because, our guard play is suffering a little bit right now, and he is not suffering. He's on a roll, and he's on fire. So last game, though, Knicks started out in the first quarter 24-15, so that wasn't bad. We actually, played our game. We kept them on the wraps, but it was the next two quarters that we kind of let them take the lead and control of the game, because they 27-18 and 27-21 respectively in the second and third quarter. We didn't come to play on the offensive end. And in the fourth quarter, we just battled it out, and they ended up winning the game by a few points. I don't think it was that much. So, actually, it was like 101-89. But, that being said, we keep saying, bring the defense back. Get the defense back on the roll, all right? Just play that part first and get back to your A game on that end, and, the rest will take care of itself, Getting guys back, we're going to get guys back. We were probably going to make one or two smaller end trades, coming up and stuff like that. So let's not get all panicky about, how the next couple of games go. Ultimately, when I looked at the first 4 games, I said we were going to go 1-3. So I don't care how that 1-3 looks. If we get beat down for those 3 games and we win the one, that's cool. I'm okay with that. So right in front of us, we have a chance to win this one, and then we'll worry about the second half of that. That's, that schedule once we get back home, But right now, these 4 games on the road, let's try to get what we can out of it, and this is one of those games that we can get. So that being said, I think the Knicks pull this out 108-101. And I will toss it over to a big man coming across the lane. Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you for the pass, and I'll just finger roll. 108-101. New York.
New York.
All right.
We're back at it.
We're back at it. And like I said, I feel the same way. We're going to have to do whatever it takes to get this game because of our next upcoming games. So we got to do whatever we got to do. And I feel that we're going to get this one, I'll say 116 to 112. We're in their house. So I expect them to, take us out into their tempo a little bit, and we're still going to be able to pull it out. So, yeah, I go 116 to 112. With that being said, I'll throw a pass over to this side to my man, Henry 2.0.
Well, fellas, I got breaking news. Yeah. So it is confirmed that Frank will be starting alongside my man and yours, R.J. Barrett. At the guard. It is questionable for Alfred. He's re-aggravated a hamstring. Emmanuel Quigley, sore groin, questionable. So, or maybe not 100%. Okay. However, I even got better news for you.
I know what it is.
No SGA.
Oh, he's out. Oh, huge help. That's
okay.
Huge help.
And not only that, so is the big man Darius Baisley.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
So
hey, look out for that guy on the bench I was just talking about. He's be passing sodas and popcorn out. If you're in first or second row, you might get something. You know?
Well, my problem is that here we go with Lugens Dort.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Alexei Pokusevsky. Okay.
Yeah, he's a rookie. I'm not worried about him.
And of course,
he can shoot though.
The wily veteran, my Dominican boy. Okay.
Horford,
okay, Horford. So Horford is going to get his, but we just got to worry about shutting down all of these other wannabe superstars who want to make their name at our expense. However, listen, they just made they just made the game a little easier for us. I just hope that the players don't look at it that way. You got to look at it like, yo, we playing the NBA Western Conference champs, or we got to come out with our A+ game, and that's all. We come in with our A+ game, no matter who's in the court. Okay, Obi could be one to have a game of his life. He's about to bust one of these days. Okay, Santana. One of these days he's gonna bust one, and I'm gonna give him his props. Yeah, that's all. That's all we can say, man. We're about 15 minutes away from throwing the ball up in the air. Let's get this going. And I'm hoping that you can put in that phone call to your other boy, okay, U-Haul, and see, wake him up a little bit, man. What's up, man? Light a fire under his, because it's too bad. That's what comes with the territory, man. You want to be an all-star? You want to be the best man on the team? This is what you have to be, the best man on the team every day. You don't get to take a day off. You got to perform every day, okay? When you was a papi chulo, your girl didn't say, what, is that it? No. She didn't want to hear that. She's like, yo, man, either you perform or you move, man. Next, we trade you for somebody. Go ahead, Santana.
This guy.
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead, follow that. Go ahead and follow that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, my score. You want to score?
Yeah.
I got you.
Sounds like you scored already.
Oh, man. That's how I am. I could score twice.
There you go.
So, go ahead. 110, 102, Papi. 110, 102.
Oh,
and not only that, Knicks.
Oh, okay. There you go.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I'm not concerned with Randall showing up. He'll show up. He'll show up. Yeah, we have expectations for him to show up every single game. And of course, that comes with the territory of being the guy. We get that. We're not going to dispute that. But we do need other guys to step up. That's the bottom line. We can't expect that he's going to carry us every single game. From the opening tip-off to the sounding of the final quarter bell. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about Randall. I really am not. He's the least of my concerns. If anything, it's just a matter of getting consistency from other guys on the team to be able to carry their own weight so that they could do their part. That's all it's about. No big deal. Now, I'm glad that ESDA is not playing. That definitely puts us in a position where we have a better chance to win. We do have to watch out for Horford, because Horford is a veteran. He's gonna do his thing. He's gonna be very smart, crafty. He's gonna get his points, whether it's in the post or at the top of the key. He's gonna try and do that, and then he'll get his key rebounds. He'll post you up every now and then. So even though he's old, he's still got game. You know what I mean? He'll slow the game down to his pace to get his team in a position to win. So we just got to match that savviness on the floor. Hopefully on our end, we'll get some guys that will come in, whether that's Burks, who will relieve Frank, at the point guard position, because, Tibbs likes to use Burks as well to bring the ball up. Not a pure point, but at least to handle the ball. And that's the key. We got to make sure that we're able to manage the game well. That we don't need them to try to be superstars because they're not pure points. But so long as they don't kill us with turnovers, we'll be all right. My prediction for this game is Knicks 110, OKC 105. And I think, this is their game to get back. This is a game that, of all the games that they have coming up, this is the most winnable game. So when you have that opportunity, you got to grab it. You can't let it go. You can't let it slip out of your hands because it'll cost you down the road. We got to win this game. So I do think there'll be a sense of urgency. I think they'll tighten up on their defense, especially on the three-point defense, which has been lacking in the past few games. And then we'll come out of this, without any more injuries, because we can't afford any more injuries, so that we could, pick it up on Monday. With that said, I want to go one more round around, see if you guys got any last minute thoughts, any 10 minutes or 10 seconds of hate, any trade, that you want to throw out there, Dream, or whatever. So go ahead, Dream.
The trades themselves, I hold that. I think we want to put together a show, right? I got like 5 or 6 different things I want to talk about, as far as that. But I will throw out 10 seconds of hate towards my man in the other borough over there. I don't know why they signed Blake Griffin. It looks good on paper, I guess. It looks good on paper, but the thing that I laugh about the most, and it's only 10 seconds, is that the thing we know Blake Griffin most for is dunking and that kind of a stuff. And my man got 0 dunks this year. So, I'm just not sure.
Since 2019.
Well, since 2019.
Since 2019, he hasn't dunked in a game.
So,
wow.
I'm not sure, what that ended up doing there. But that was my 10 seconds. I'll swing it around. I'm just going to toss the ball up, whoever got it. Yeah.
I just want to add another point about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, they beat the Dallas, but Dallas was playing without Luka and without KP. So they were at full strength. Actually, they stole the game there. Oh, they got a gift.
Good for them, man.
Good for them.
I wanted to steal the game against San Antonio, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, I know, right? So it happened to them. It didn't happen to us. I wish it was us playing Dallas without Luka and KP, So maybe that would the gods, the basketball gods, will bless us in that way. But other than that, that's it. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, I just want to see a great effort tonight. Well, this afternoon, and like we've all said, this is a must-win. This is a game that can so-called define the rest of the way for us going down the stretch. And if we are expecting ourselves to be a playoff team, these are the type of situations that we have to manage to get through and to press on, regardless of who's there and who's not. Now, with regard to the trade deadline, which I think is the 25th, I hope we don't, just try to panic and concentrate on this season. I think we should still keep our mindset for the long term, for the long haul, and, to develop, the guys that we have, unless there's something going to be on the table that you just can't, you can't bypass. Now, I don't want to take up too much time, but a couple of nights ago, last time I spoke to my brother, he was trying to tell me about how much he would like Westbrook on his team, and for some reason, I said I was telling him he wouldn't work with this team. So I wouldn't warn him. And my brother and my father loves him so much that I have to bring this to y'all. Is it me? Do I just have hate for him? But I'm not feeling. I think a lot of his his statistics come sometimes is what we like to call it, those empty calories.
Empty,
because it doesn't equate to wins. And he's played. And my point to my brother was that, listen, he's played with Harden. He's played with better talent than we have. So what makes you think with him being here, we'd be able to win? I said, it's just certain people go with certain teams and how they're prepared to come out and what they're going to be known for and how their style of play. And I think that him being over here would not make us any better than we currently are, basically, and definitely not for the long haul. So I throw that out there.
$40
How do y'all feel about that? Yeah,
I feel like $40 million.
Yeah, come on.
That's what it costs to get them. That's
not only a $40 million is what do we have to give up to get them?
Exactly.
On top of that too, yeah.
And that
that means not signing Randall or marketing or somebody of that nature. Or another point guard in the off season. That's what that means. If we bring somebody like Kit to eat that 40,
that's a salary dump.
So my brother's answer to that, answer to that was, well, okay, so you just wouldn't want him on the team? I was like, no. He was like, what about just for RJ straight up? I was like, I wouldn't want that.
No.
I just wouldn't want that.
No.
Because again, I said RJ's upside. I said I can see him developing into a Jimmy Butler type, or you might have some other types of player. And I'd rather that complement the team and how we're moving, as opposed to having Westbrook over here putting up triple doubles and we coming in 11th and 12th place. That's just my opinion of it. So he even said, "Listen, man. You're on a podcast. You can't be saying things like that." I said, "No. Why don't you get on and say what you got to say? And we can all discuss it."
Say it all.
For sure. For sure. Look, we welcome him to come on board and discuss it. We welcome anybody that has a differing opinion. It doesn't mean we're going to rip them. We'll rip them. You're still welcome. You're still welcome. But the bottom line is, even if you wanted that scenario that he raised, RJ for Westbrook straight up, that wouldn't happen because the numbers don't match up.
Right.
You're not just giving RJ. You got to give up other players to come up close to that 40 million. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a lot of money. What's up 2.0?
I just wanted to add the only trade that's really available or that is that looks good and that I would accept is Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, in the offseason. That's not right now, though.
RJ, Mitchell, and Kevin Knox. That's the only way I give up on RJ. Karl Anthony Towns.
But they ain't about RJ. They ain't worried about guards. They want Randall. If you want Big Cat, you giving up Randall.
But that's not what's being offered.
Ooh, what offer? Where you see the offer from?
I'm
shoot it to me.
I'm reading one from I'm reading from possible different trades that are out there.
But
nobody's got an offer on the table.
No, I hear that. But you got to look at what the team has, what they're drafted. They got a bunch of guards they're just trying to develop there right now. D'Angelo Russell, they just drafted that kid Edwards. They don't have no need for RJ Barrett.
But they like Mitchell and Kevin Knox and a couple of second rounders.
Yeah, you got Karl Anthony Towns has $100+ million contract, like $158 million he makes a year. Mm-hmm. So you have to, like Santana says, you got to look at it realistically, not just by the names on the board, but by the dollars.
The money
also has to make sense, So we do have money to eat some, but I don't think Minnesota is just going to take a bunch of our second-round draft picks and people that's not working out and just send us their best asset, basically. But he does want to come. That's the guy, I think, more than Booker, in my eyes, wants to be here in New York, because they talk about the COVID, but nobody's family in the NBA got ravaged more than his. 6 people. I used to work with somebody in Jersey that's a friend of the family. 6 people from his family died, and he ended up getting COVID himself. So he wants to be back on the East Coast. They keep talking about this Booker moving, trying to force his way out. I think it's Karl Anthony Towns is the guy that really wants out. And he's from New Jersey. He played right here. I think it was Piscataway or something like that. But, why not come? Why not be here? You already played for Tibbs. You know what he's about. So it's not like you try to force a trade somewhere you don't want to be. And I think we do have assets. That's an off-season thing we need to address. But that's a big-time trade that affects our team in a few ways, But that's not in this season. That's not up for grabs this season, That's an off-season trade, So this season, go ahead.
So with that said, because we're going to save the trade talk for that next episode, we're going to talk about that. Yeah. It's going to be dedicated just to trade talks and possibilities.
Game time.
Full show on that. We got the game that's just about to start momentarily, so we're going to close out this episode as we do every other episode by saying, once a Knick, always a Knick.
Let's go, baby.
All right, fellas.
Let's get it.
We'll be staying in contact via the chat, fellas.
All right.
Okay.
All right, man. Enjoy the game.
Do the same.